And we're underway for Fort Morgan's Jacob Fritzler. Looking for Alex Mai at 195 pounds here soon. Two wrestlers are going to go down on their knees side by side. Somebody's going to come out with a headlock. Does Fritzler have it? He had it and lost it, but he's going to spin around to the side. And they continue to dance when the bouncing is all done and they land. It ends up that Fritzler ends up underneath Garcia. So Garcia gets the takedown. And Jacob Fritzler flat on the stomach, trying to make his way back up to his base position. 40 seconds gone in the opening period of this match. Fritzler looked like he may have a headlock and may be able to put Garcia on his back, and then when it all settles out, he ends up being taken down. Fritzler still flat on his stomach, trying to make his way up. Now he gets up to his base. Garcia got a hold of a right wrist, looking for control there. Got the arm bar, or trying to set up an arm bar. Fritzler trying to get a hold of it, control of his right wrist. He has it pinned back in his left back pocket. And Garcia trying to use it to crank away. We're down to 30 seconds to go in the first period. Jacob Fritzler trying to make his way up to his base position again. Still can't get control of his right wrist. He gave it up and has it pinned back. Now there's going to be a caution for stalling against Fritzler. He hasn't worked hard enough for the official, and that'll be the end of the first period. Jacob Fritzler trails by a score of 2-0. Looking onto the board here, we're waiting next for Fort Morgan's Alex Mai, and I think that he's going to be coming up on this same mat. But there's going to be one match in between. They start on their feet in the second period. The shot by the Pueblo County wrestler. Not a great one, and a big long sprawl by Fritzler. Holding on to a front headlock, keeping Garcia away. Now they break apart. Onto their feet, back to the center. On their feet here in the second period, Jacob Fritzler trails by a score of 2-0 to Dante Garcia from Pueblo County. Here's another shot by Garcia. This one coming up a little bit better, but Fritzler is able to get both arms in a double underhook and block Garcia out. Now they work from their knees. Pueblo County wrestler had a front headlock and is able to reach over, get a hold of a single leg, and just knock down Fritzler and spin around for the 2 points. So now Jacob Fritzler trails by a score of 4-0. 50 seconds to go in the second period. Again, Garcia trying to get control of that right wrist. Fritzler gets up to his base position, briefly making it up towards his feet, and gets dragged right back down. Fritzler's been working a good majority of this match without his right arm. Now he gets it back. The Pueblo County wrestler had a hold of that right wrist, been using it the entire match. Hasn't been able to turn Fritzler or really get towards any pinning combination, but he's been able to maintain control with it. Fritzler actually even got caution for stalling earlier in the match. We're down to 14 seconds to go in the second period. Jacob Fritzler trails by a score of 4-0. Fritzler up to his feet off the whistle. Gets dragged back down and was tilted over briefly, and I think the official gave a 1 count, but not enough for any back points to be awarded. And the second period comes to a close. Fritzler trails by a score of 4-0 as we head to the final 2 minutes of this championship quarterfinal match. The choice will go to Garcia. And after getting 2 takedowns, he wants to start on their feet. So we work in the final 2 minutes here. Fritzler down 4-0. He's in on a shot. Not a great one. A big sprawl by Garcia, and he stays away. Now they're back up towards their feet. They split apart. Back into the center. Minute and a half to go in the match, and Fritzler trails by a score of 4-0. Alex Mai going to be wrestling on this same mat. He is. There's going to be one match between Fritzler and Mai on mat number 1 here. Wrestlers continue on their feet. Jacob Fritzler running down to a minute to go in the match. He trails at 4-0. The Pueblo County wrestler in on a shot, but they break apart. Garcia staying aggressive and doing what he needs to do. Wrestling the way you're supposed to when you're up 4-0. Not sure what happened. I think the Pueblo County wrestler got dinged. His got injured. His left hand is being looked at. Left hand or left elbow they're looking at. That must be the shoulder. So we're down to, well, now they put the injury time on the clock, but I think we're down to about a minute left in the match. And Jacob Fritzler trails by a score of 4-0. Alex Mai will be coming up at 195 pounds in a championship quarterfinal match here in just a few minutes. And then right after that, Toby McBride at 220 and Jesus Ibarra at 285. And then as soon as this round concludes, the first round of consolation matches will come up. We'll have a pretty extended break. Just one wrestler in that round for Fort Morgan. That's Christopher Shriver. And after Ibarra's match, it's going to be a good half an hour or so before we get back to Shriver. Looks like Dante Garcia is going to be okay. They are on their feet. And there's 47 seconds to go in the match. Jacob Fritzler trailing 4-0. Going to have to come up with a big move here as time is winding down. Takes a shot. It's not a great one, right on the edge of the mat, and they'll go out of bounds. So they come back in the center. They'll try it again. Down to 30 seconds to go. Now there's a caution, or I think that's against Fritzler. That would be his second. No point awarded, though. 15 seconds left in the match, and Fritzler running out of time, trailing 4-0. Toby McBride is also now on the board as well, so we're going to have a couple of matches coming up. There's a throw by the Pueblo County wrestler near the edge of the mat. Their shoulders off. Time is going to expire. I guess the penalty point went against Dante Garcia, so the final score ends up being 4-1. 4-1, Jacob Fritzler loses the match and will move down to the consolation side of the bracket. So Fort Morgan